It all comes down to this. Will you do the work? Let's talk about what that actually means. Everything we've talked about today leads here. Again, the inner game, the invisible sale, the thermostat, the fear, the transfers, the winning edge, the law of cause and effect. All of it is meaningless if you're not willing to do the work. Tracy is blunt about this, more blunt than most authors. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He doesn't promise shortcuts. He says it plainly. Success requires effort, sustained, focused, often uncomfortable effort. There is no hack. There is no trick. There is no secret workaround that lets you skip the hard part. The people who make it to the top understand this before they start climbing. The ones who don't, wash out. He uses an analogy that I've never forgotten. Think about an airplane on a runway. It's loaded with passengers, full of fuel, ready to go. To get off the ground, to lift into the sky, it has to reach takeoff speed. And to reach takeoff speed, the pilot must apply full throttle, 100% maximum effort, everything the engine has. If the pilot gives 80%, even 90%, the plane stays on the ground. It never reaches takeoff speed. It rolls down the runway, running out of asphalt, and eventually crashes. There is no cruising at 80% before you lift off. You can't coast into the sky. It's full throttle or nothing. That's how sales careers work. The beginning is the hardest. You're building skills you don't have yet. You're making mistakes you haven't learned from yet. You're pushing through rejection and uncertainty and fear. You're earning less than you want while working more than you expected. And it's tempting to pull back, to coast, to give 80% because that feels sustainable. To tell yourself you'll push harder when things get better. But 80% keeps you on the ground. It keeps you in the bottom 80% of earners. It keeps you stuck at the same level year after year, wondering why the breakthroughs never come. The people who break through are the ones who go all in, who give 100%, not forever, but long enough to reach cruising altitude, who start earlier, stay later, use every hour as an opportunity to improve, who treat this season like it matters, because it does. I learned this the hard way when I was young. Back at Movati, I was doing well, good numbers, solid reputation, but I wasn't doing great. And I knew exactly why. I was comfortable. I'd show up on time, not early, just on time. I'd do a decent job, not exceptional, just decent. I'd leave when my shift ended, not late, not ever. I was giving 80%, maybe 85%, and my results reflected it. Then I watched someone who was giving 100%. He was there before the gym opened, reviewing notes, practicing his pitch in the mirror. He was making calls while everyone else was taking breaks. He was staying late to follow up, to debrief, to get better. He was reading books on selling while everyone else watching TV. And his numbers were absurd, consistently at the top, making more in a month than most people made in a quarter. I remember looking at him and thinking, he's just more talented. But it wasn't talent. I watched him closely enough to know. It was effort. Consistent, focused, uncomfortable effort. He was paying the price and I wasn't. Once I saw that, once I really understood it, I made a decision. I started arriving earlier, started staying later. I started treating every conversation as practice, every objection as a learning opportunity, every day as a chance to get better. I started studying, really studying what worked and what didn't, not just going through the motions, paying attention. And within a few months, my numbers caught up, not because I became more talented, because I finally paid the price. Here's what most people don't understand. The price of success is paid in advance. You don't get to wait until the results come in and then decide to work hard. You don't get to see the first commission check and then put in the effort. It doesn't work that way. You pay first. You invest the effort before you see the return. You make the sacrifice before you feel the reward. It's not fair. It's not how we designed it if we could, but it's how it works. Tracy makes the point that the highest earners in sales are not grinding themselves into dust forever. Once they've reached a certain level of skill and reputation, the game gets easier. Referrals start flowing in. Repeat business builds. Their reputation precedes them. Customers come to them instead of the other way around. The effort per dollar decreases, but that only happens because they put in the full effort at the beginning. They hit full throttle when it mattered. They got off the runway. They reached cruising altitude. And now they can ease off a little. But that ease came after the hard part, not instead of it. The question you have to ask yourself is this: am I really giving 100%? Or am I giving 80 and hoping for a 100% result? Be honest. Because if you're being honest, the answer might explain a lot about your current situation. I remember coaching a young fundraiser who was struggling, working hard, or so she said, but not seeing results. I asked her to walk me through a typical day. She showed up at 10. The site opened at 9. She took lunch at noon, a full hour. She finished her last conversation at 4. The site stayed open till 6. She was working all day, but she was working maybe 4 hours of real focus selling. The rest was transition, travel, breaks, warm up, wind down. I didn't criticize her. I just showed her the math. You're working 4 hours. The top performers are working 8. You're not twice as talented. They're doing twice the work. That's the gap. She got it. She changed. Her numbers turned around in weeks. Here's the challenge. For the next 30 days, commit to full throttle. Not forever, just 30 days. Start earlier. Work smarter. Use every available minute. Study when you could scroll. Practice when you could relax. Reach out when you could wait. Fill the time with activity that actually matters. You don't have to do this for the rest of your career, just long enough to break through, just long enough to reach cruising altitude. And once you're there, once the skills are sharp, the habits are formed, the reputation is built, you can ease off a little. But that moment only comes after you pay the price, not before. This is the uncomfortable truth about success. It's not random. It's not gifted. It's not reserved for the lucky few. It's earned. One day at a time, one call at a time, 100% effort applied consistently over time. The people who earn it are the ones who decide right now, not someday, that they're willing to pay what it costs. So the question is simple. Are you? Hey, thanks for checking out this clip from the Sales Evolution Lab podcast. If you found value in this lesson, be sure to hit subscribe to evolve for the future of selling. And if you want the full breakdown, the deeper stories, the practical toolkit, check out the full episode. Just click the video on the screen, and I'll see you there.